Shango and Grizz show. We had a pretty good week last week. There were some problems, but I think we'll get over it. But this week, Grizz, we're having some sushi.
We definitely are, man. We're going down to South Florida, hitting the South Beach hot spots.
Yeah.
Eating up a little sushi there, then come on back home after the weekend.
A little spicy Trent Green roll.
I like that.
A little Ronnie Brown roll.
Bring it on.
We're going to do it. We're going to get it. Now, one thing I want to say about the Dolphins, a lot of people don't think highly of the Dolphins, but they're a average AFC team, which is equivalent to a very good NFC team. You have to know that. The AFC is a much superior conference. If you don't believe it, you're not watching football. So we're going to have to take these guys seriously, and it's not going to be a cakewalk when we go down there.
Yeah, there's no doubt the AFC's riding high right now as the better conference. They have been for the last few years. So you got to take AFC teams seriously, even if they struggled like, the Dolphins did. And also, it's still kind of summer heat, humidity down there in South Florida. So, it's going to be a rough game. The Dolphins usually do well at home in early September.
Yeah, and then we have to put in the equation that these teams are very familiar with each other's work, even though we hadn't played each other in a while. We have the two coordinators for the San Diego Chargers last year, Cam Cameron versus our man Wade. So they've probably battled back and forth in practice, for the last couple of years. So they know a lot about their offense. And then we also have Jason Garrett, who was a quarterback coach there in Miami. A lot of his guys aren't there anymore, but still he knows, those players' tendencies of Chris Chambers and things of that sort. So we've got a lot of information on each other, and I know we're going to use ours, so they're definitely going to use their information. All right, Grizz, what do we need to do to beat their offense with our defense? Because our defense is kind of shaky. What can we do?
Well, I watched their game last week against Washington to get a real idea of what they like to do. And obviously Ronnie Brown is number one over there in terms of, what you got to get stopped right away. You can't let them get a ground game going.
Right.
And last week Washington didn't let them get a ground game going, and it really hurt them in terms of their passing game. I mean, Washington wasn't scared of their running game, so they brought pressure, forced Trent Green to throw the ball before he wanted to. They did a lot of check downs to the running backs because they really didn't have time. And all of that stems from not having a running game that scares the defense. So we got to get Ronnie Brown bottled up, take care of that offensive line. After that, I think we can do damage on Trent Green.
You know what I saw? I saw a lot of Jesse Chapman, too, last week when I was watching him. I mean, there were some crucial situations where Ronnie Brown was on the bench and Jesse Chapman was in the game. So we need to focus on two running backs, not only Ronnie Brown, but Jesse Chapman also, because I heard he was going to get a lot of reps this year, and he was getting them.
Yeah, so, he caught a lot of passes out of the backfield, and he did do some running, straight out of the backfield. So they are kind of sharing carries. And that Chapman, he's pretty shifty, man.
Yeah.
He's got a few moves out there, so we got to keep an eye on him.
And seeing the difference between what Brandon Jacobs did to the defense and what Ward did to our defense last year, I'm more worried about the shifty guy because I think we can handle the big guy. All right. Now, what do our offense need to do to our defense other than throw over the middle to Witten?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of what we saw last week, which was early on they ran the ball, and even though we had some trouble running the ball, I mean, we were doing run, throw to Witten, run, throw to Witten to pick up the third downs. But still, getting that run game going as they did opened up all that play action in the second half. It really established what we wanted to do, and I think that's the same thing we're going to do. We're going to make them respect the run, and then after that, we're going to go after a secondary that is pretty shaky for the Dolphins. It's not the best part of their team. Travis Daniels is one of their cornerbacks, and he was getting torched by Antoine Randall L. So Establish that running game, bring them up to the line, hit them over the top. Same thing we did last week.
Yeah, I would say that too, because I think they have not only one new safety, I think they have 2 new safeties. They lost one last week. So they have, I think, Lamont Thompson back there from the Titans and someone else. So we can hit them over the middle with Witten easily, just like we did last week, and then hit them with run. But we have to keep an eye and keep Jason Taylor under wraps, because he was a monster last week, and every year he comes out and he plays good ball. I don't understand that guy.
Yeah, and Jason Taylor is the kind of end that can give Flozell Adams fits, man. He's got all the speed that you want in defensive end. He's tall and rangy, so he can use those arms to keep tackles off of him. That's the kind of player that just gives Flozell fits, so we'll have to keep an eye on that matchup. It's going to be really important to get him blocked, and we got to get Zach Thomas blocked too. The guy's been doing it forever. He's still doing it. He had like 12 tackles last week and was all over the field.
Yeah. Joey Porter, on the other hand, he was held out of the Miami game in certain pressure situations, which he didn't like it that much. So he's got kind of like a chip on his shoulder to prove that he's one of the best players on that team that need to be out there during crucial times. So we've got to watch Joey Porter. He might be trying to make a point against our offense.
Yeah, in the Washington game, he had a few tackles, made a few plays, wasn't as involved as he probably wants to be. So I bet he is lobbying this week to get turned loose a little bit on that defense, see what he can do. So, we'll keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Okay, since our question of the week, since we have a new guy manning the middle in Ratliff, our boy, your boy.
Yeah.
We want to see how many yards do you think Ronnie Brown is going to get rushing? Only rushing yards.
Well, he didn't do so well in the rushing game last week.
No.
I think that we can stop the run just as well as Washington can. You're right. I love Jay Ratliff. He's been my boy forever. So I'm going to stick with Ratliff getting the job done. So I'm going to say we're going to hold Ronnie Brown under 50 yards.
Under 50. I was thinking more around 57, so between 50 and 60 is where I'm going. So I'm going to go 10 yards above you, and just because maybe when they're trying to, at trash times, he might get some yards here and there.
Right. I'll go with 49 so we have an exact number.
Okay, 57 here, 57 here. All right, like I said, send us your numbers, people. How many yards Ronnie Brown's going to get rushing. All right, guys, we will see you. You can check out Grizz at bloggingtheboys.com, and trust me, he's writing he's writing right now. You think he's not, but his hand is completely moving. So he's writing all the time, and you can come to DallasCowboysShow.com because I got a ton of videos up there, and then I'm going to have a lot of other cowboy video makers videos up there. So we're giving you cowboy entertainment all year long. All right, man. I will see you Sunday.
After the victory. After the big victory.
After the big sushi blast.
Yeah.
All right, man. See you later.
All right. See you guys.